So I think I've got my camera figured out. That's pretty cool. Let me know what you think. Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy and your favorite YouTuber who's got good points, Gardiner. So I was on Twitter the other day and I saw that Jay's 2 cents asked a question. He asked, dedicated Linux users, genuine question. What appeals you to Linux? For me, the very fact that I would have to ask myself, will it work with new titles, drivers, distro disparities, etc., keeps me off. Other than screw Microsoft, what keeps you dedicated to it? Now, there are a lot of things that I could say here. I could say security. I could say privacy. I could say freedom, right? You know, I could list any of the major boons that exist for Linux users. But I think the answer to that question, at least for me, goes deeper than that. When I was a kid, like a young kid, before I ever laid eyes on a PC, I played Atari and I played NES. And I was mesmerized with the idea of interacting with my TV. And it's something that I still enjoy to this day. I mean, playing games on my computer is okay, but I'm much more of a 10-foot experience guy. I like sitting on the couch with a controller and playing a game. When I encountered my first PC, my whole context with interacting with a screen was video games. And to me, the GUI of the first PC I ever saw, the classic Mac, the GUI looked like a puzzle game. Similarly, when I saw my dad's friend Mike typing away at a DOS prompt, I thought it was a game. So whenever I got a chance to actually play with a computer, that's exactly what I did, was play. I remember, like, on the first PC my family ever owned, I tried to create a game in Windows 3.11 by using the shortcut maker I would type in the name of games that I knew, like Mario, only to get an error saying that the file wasn't found. Well, and I was a little kid, so I didn't realize that that wouldn't work, but the idea that it could work, I thought was incredibly mesmerizing. It didn't take long before I was able to get my own PC, and I played games like Space Quest 6, or SimCity 2000, or Command & Conquer, and tons of others. And it was awesome. I loved it. But the whole time I was playing those games, I also just enjoyed clicking around in Windows and changing settings, because it was fun to me. And that was the case for me all the way up through Windows XP. As much as I loved, like, Unreal Tournament 2004 and Max Payne, Call of Duty, like the original Call of Duty, and The Sims and SimCity 4 and all that stuff, I equally enjoyed the operating system. I mean, the first time I saw Windows XP was at my grandparents' shop, and I experienced intense jealousy. Not because they had a new computer, which they did, but because I thought Windows XP looked amazingly awesome, and I would do anything to have such a cool-looking GUI on my PC back home. I was also like 13, and I thought Comic Sans was the best font at the time, so I didn't have the best taste. Some would argue I still don't. But something changed for me with Windows when it came to Windows Vista. I thought the UI was awesome. I really liked how it looked, but using the OS itself was no longer fun for me. I thought maybe it was just because I was getting older, or maybe, you know, I had grown out of my OS obsession. But that wasn't it. And Windows Vista was the beginning of the end for Windows, at least for me. It was slow, and it broke compatibility with a lot of the hardware that I had been collecting over the years. And yes, I was collecting hardware as a teenager. It wouldn't be long, though, until I rediscovered my passion for operating systems. The first time I encountered Linux was at the library. One of the many machines that they had there was running Fedora Core 2. I remember seeing that thing, and I'm like, what is this? I asked the librarian, and he said it was running Linux. I still remember that moment. It was a moment that is still etched in my brain indelibly to this day. And then came Ubuntu into my life. The first version I ever heard of was Dapper Drake, but I didn't have a CD burner at the time, so my excitement was left to reading about this mysterious OS called Ubuntu Linux. Flash forward a bit, and my sights had shifted from Ubuntu to Fedora Core 6. I liked Fedora's branding more than Ubuntu's, and so I hopped on that train. So one random day, as I was heading home from work, I stopped at a yard sale just down the street from my house, and I saw that they had a 1x CD burner, and it was in the box. It was used, but it was in the box. I snapped that thing up so fast, and I rushed home, where I already had a stack of burnable CDs for the day when I knew I would eventually get a CD burner. And then I burnt the 6 discs of Fedora 6 and got to work on installing it. And yes, it was 6 discs. That was my first true interaction with Linux on my PC. And honestly, it was a bit of a disappointment. I was at a loss. I didn't know where my CD drive was. I didn't know how to play MP3s. And there were no video editors as far as I could tell, which was something that I really loved to do. I was always passionate about making videos, even before I had a YouTube channel. Frustrated, dejected, I switched back to Windows. It wouldn't be until Ubuntu 8.04 came out that I truly became a full-time Linux user. The thing was, Ubuntu was fun. Using my PC was fun again. Sure, I didn't have all my games, but Wine was awesome. And Kdenlive was a thing at that point, so I started using it almost immediately. Plus, I found this amazing community of Linux people. I mean, the Ubuntu forums, Jupiter Broadcasting, and perhaps the most influential person on my Linux journey was Jordan Keyes and This Week in Linux. This was quite a long time ago. I have like nostalgia for these, for the Linux Action Show and Jordan Keyes. When I installed Linux, my computer became fun again for me. It captured the magic of the early days when I was very young using a computer and thinking Windows was just super fun to use. But more importantly, Linux is still fun for me today. Don't get me wrong, it's great that my operating system isn't spying on me, and it's really nice that I have all my system resources available whenever I need them, rather than whenever Microsoft decides, hey, it's time for you to update. There's lots of reasons that you should be a Linux user. There's lots of reasons that it deserves your adoration. It's the largest collaborative project in the history of mankind. But personally, the reason that I love and use Linux today is because it's fun. Well, that's my video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I know I've done a video like this, but it was over 3 years ago at this point, so I wanted to kind of talk about the reasons that I still love Linux to this day. Yeah, so I want to say thanks to Jay's 2 cents for prompting this video anyway. I also want to say thanks to my patrons who make this possible. If you believe in the work that I do over here on this channel, you can help support the show on Patreon. You can also become a channel member on YouTube. But no matter what you do, and it's all very much appreciated. I really, I can't express how much I genuinely appreciate you guys. I think that's going to do it for this video. If you want to help support the show by picking up some merchandise like this cool shirt here, you can head over to Teespring. There's a link in the description. You can subscribe to the show if you'd like to do that. You can like this video. It helps the channel out as well. But no matter what you do, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, and have a blessed day.